Harry Papp. All right. Series rewind number 2, man.
Back
Celtics
at it.
2012.
Fucking intense series.
Yeah.
Neck
yeah.
and neck.
Yeah. Probably the last time I missed like the beginning of a series. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I missed the first 2 games. And, like, I remember catching the second game, and you looked at one point, and they were, like, down 10 or something. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's over. And then it just turned into a series so quick.
I mean, after those first 2 games, like, it was probably so easy just to discount the Celtics, right? Because, like, fucking we had Rondo in that second game, and it was like, it's just Rajon Rondo, It was easy to count them out against
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to start on before we kind of get to the actual series is, I mean, this was a weird year because you're coming off of, it's obviously not Paul Pierce's team anymore. It's Rondo.
Yeah, right.
Like, we were just in the last conference finals against the Heat, came up short. It's Rondo's team now.
Semifinals.
Yeah, semifinals, and ended up losing them. But then, Rondo was good. Like, Rondo was pretty good. At that time, I remember being like, he was better than Chris Paul, which, reaching.
Yeah, right, but, like, still.
Yeah, like, that's like when, Charlotte fans used to say Kemba was the best point guard in the NBA. It's like, no, he's not, but he's good, so.
He's, like, pretty good, I mean, with Rondo and Chris Paul especially, because it's just, like, when else do you get, like, 2 hard-nosed, like, tough defending point guards in the league at the same time? Like, 2 of those guys.
Yeah.
2 of those, like, aggressive guys. I really love those 2. I love how they, like, don't like each other.
Yeah, and
best.
I mean, like, you look at it, a lot of it, like, people want to argue that Chris Paul was better, but in the playoffs, like, sometimes Rondo was just, like,
Deadly.
he was the best point guard in the NBA sometimes.
Yeah, right. Like, absolutely just tore it up, and just like he had all those people around me. And it's easy to, like, dish out mad assists when you have fucking Ray Allen in the corner and Kevin Garnett down low.
Yeah, I mean, other than like Oscar and Magic, at the time he was probably like, you were gonna say like, hey, your point guard's only gonna score 10 points. Who's gonna have the biggest impact if they could only score 10 points?
Yeah.
No, Oscar, Magic, but then somewhere close is either like Jason Kidd or Rondo.
Yeah. No, I would totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Rondo.
This was the year that he started, not making the triple-double popular because that's what Westbrook did, but, like, he started bringing it out a little,
Right.
You started to see it was like Rondo, 9th place all-time triple-doubles.
I was looking at all these numbers throughout the games, and I think just like the general numbers from now's NBA compared to back then, it's just like nobody in this series, nobody on the Celtics but Rondo scored over 30 points.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with like triple doubles where it's like how many triple doubles did he get in that season? Do you even know?
No, probably. I think it was like under 5. It wasn't too many, but it was to the point where people were like, it's a lot.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? He got that many, and people were like, that's a lot. And then we get fucking Russell Westbrook, and all of a sudden, everybody just gets a good triple-double,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, because he took, like, trying for a triple-double to a whole new level. Like, Magic, I felt like sometimes it would just be like, oh, he ended up with a triple-double because he did everything on the goddamn basketball floor. But some of the times you get Rondo and you see, like, he's got 8 rebounds. He's the guy who wants the rebounds.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta, right? I mean, Rondo, one of the more, I think, competitive guys on that team, especially as he got older.
Yeah.
Aside from maybe Garnett. Garnett's trash talking. I don't know why recently I've seen so many compilations of like Garnett trash talking, but he's just the best.
Sometimes a different level. Yeah. So, but then if we look at that Heat team, they're coming off the loss in the final. Yeah, they're coming off the loss in the finals.
The bad loss. Yeah, the LeBron breakdown.
Disappears,
Yeah.
And then, he comes back in. They started playing small ball either way because, they didn't really have a good center. Their starting center was Joel Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, Bosh was playing 5, and then all of a sudden, Braun comes back, and it was just a different animal.
Just absolute insanity. Was
Yeah,
it?
just some days you were looking at him like 270, maybe 280. He's playing power forward, like
And just tearing that shit up. There are just some games where just like Wade and Bosch would just like take a back seat and like because like you had to because
yeah,
LeBron is
because
just
this was
the
the year.
dominant force. Yeah, right.
Yeah, this was the year that because you could see in that first year it was kind of like, all right, you get this game tonight, I'll get the next one.
Yeah, right.
Like LeBron and Wade and even Bosch, they were all like trying to. I don't even. People think it's like an ego thing of like, oh, this has to be my night. I don't think it was that so much as like for the first year, nobody would be the guy because they all didn't want to be like they. I don't want to be the guy who fucks this up. Listen, like we have 3 of the best players of all time. It'll figure itself. And then
Yeah,
eventually LeBron and Wade were like, no, we have to figure it out.
yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm happy the Celtics never really had that problem, did they?
No, no,
I mean,
because
it
I
was kind of
think,
Paul Pierce until it wasn't. You know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, because you started to get that switch in the end
Yeah,
of like it got away from Paul and it went to Rondo, but he didn't really hang around much. Like,
yeah,
because you
and
got to forget, they go one more year, they run this group back, and then they ran into the Knicks in the first round. And J.R. Smith hits the buzzer beater in the second game
shit.
of the second half and goes like this. And it's that famous one where he takes the knee at the midcourt and just like blows into both his hands and blows out the 3.
Oh
And
shit.
yeah, yeah. And after that point, you were like, okay, this group's done. Yep, it's over.
Wait, how
But
far did they make it? Did they make it out of that first round?
no, no. I think they went in 5, no, 6 games. 6 games, I want to say.
No shit. Who?
Yeah.
J.R. Smith and who?
J.R. Smith, Carmelo. It was the year, and then they went and played Indiana the next year or the
Oh
next round and
shit.
lost. And then Miami went to the championship again.
Yeah, then they're fucking back at it. They
Yeah,
did their thing.
because before this series this is Indiana the year before they took them to the conference finals and took them to 6 games. They
And that
take
was like the dogfight between LeBron and Paul George, kind of, right?
yeah, because they met in the playoffs 3 years, and then you look at Paul George that first time. They got to game 7 and it was the second round and everybody's going crazy. And I remember as a Boston fan being like, oh, like you gotta hope that they lose just because at this point it'd be so much easier. Because even as a
Yeah.
Boston fan, you were like this game went 7 games and I wanted them to win so badly, but I don't think I was ever gonna bet against the Miami Heat. You were just like, yeah, they have 3 guys that could be on the
Yeah.
all-NBA first team.
I mean, it's like we are just saying, like after those 2 games, like it's so like you just look at the team side by side, and it's like they won it like Celtics, they won it in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get it done in 2010, and now apparently they're on the 2-year cycle. They're trying to get back 2012, and it's like, okay, you had a couple shots, and I like just in terms of like the media as a whole, like
Yeah,
they had a
yeah,
couple
it was
shots,
done.
and here comes this team that's supposedly ushering out that era, and they kind of did. The Heat kind of, if it weren't
Kinda
for the
did.
Heat, the Celtics would have obviously would have had a couple more titles on their sleeves.
I don't know. I look at this group and I watched them in 2012 and I'm like, it's amazing that this went 7.
They could have beaten the Thunder in the finals. I really believe that. I
You
really
think
think they could have beat that
my
Thunder
whole
team in the
thing
finals.
is just like if you would have told me the year earlier and they would have beat Dallas, maybe. Because KG can guard
Dirk.
Dirk, and like that's their best player on their best player.
Yeah.
But you look at it and like I just didn't have the confidence anymore. And like Paul Pierce can guard a top 3 wing anymore. Like
Yeah.
even when you were watching guard LeBron, you were just like sometimes you were just like LeBron can just take 2 steps and he's just in front of him.
But then like that's LeBron with like a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like there are
that's what.
very few, and it's not even like the best players. It's like the gems that like are just like the Patrick Beverleys of the league, or like the Iguodalas of the league.
But it
Like
wasn't Paul. For a
but it
while,
wasn't Paul.
Paul could run
Exactly.
with them, and you looked at those years in '08, and, like, Paul had a lot of help, but Paul could still, like, he
Yeah.
put 'em out early. Like, it
Mm,
5 games, over, we're done, see ya. Like, it went 7, won.
exactly. No, he was the heart of that team. Without Paul, I don't know what we would have done.
Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, I think he's in the grand scheme, when people rate him, like, people threw him up a little high, in my opinion. Like, Steve all the time likes to argue that he's top 10 small forward of all time. Like, no, he's not.
I still think people nowadays. I think people rip on him way too much. Like the Paul Pierce hate has just like skyrocketed
But you
recently.
don't think they all do it to themselves? Like, at this point, I just look at KG and, like, it's like, you are a great, great team. But when
Yeah.
you only won 1 ring, like, we can't, like, as a Boston person, it's like, stop calling yourself a dynasty. Like, we've had those before. We've
Yeah.
just had one in football. We've had them in
Exactly.
baseball in the past. Or, like, I wouldn't even call the Red Sox a dynasty because, I mean, we haven't won back to back.
Yeah. It's kind of like yeah.
Yeah, so,
It's
like,
a loose dynasty.
yeah, so it's like, don't go dynasty yet just because you made some conference championships. Like,
Yeah. I
made
mean,
2 finals.
it's like I don't know. I get disappointed thinking about it just because I want that respect, you know.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
feel like we have that respect in football. We have it in baseball. You know, Bruins do pretty good year to year, but
yeah.
people sleep on the Celtics a little bit too much. Like in an all-time grand scheme.
I think that's because of the New England douchebag fans. Like, Bruins hockey is the worst to some people just because it's, like, belligerent and, like, in your face and, like,
Yeah.
shit, we score a goal on your team, we might dump a beer on your head. We might fuck around and do some shit.
Yeah.
And, like, New England, it's professional. We're the Patriots,
Yeah.
you know?
Like look at
Red
straight
Sox, it's just
facts, you
like,
know.
who's going to these anymore? But then the Celtics, it's just like everything. Because even me as a kid, I would do it. Like, everything is like, it's all about 18. Like, it's like, we got more
Yeah.
shit. Like, I always, when I met people who weren't from New England and were like, which sports team do you hate the most? And they were like, the Patriots, fucking duh. I was like, I really thought it would have been the Celtics just because, like, to
Yeah.
me as a Celtics fan, like, we're bigger assholes sometimes. Because,
Yeah.
like,
No,
Patriots
definitely.
fans are perfectionists. Celtics, we're optimists. We can
Well, I
think
mean,
our 6th seed, we got a chance for a title run.
yeah, right. I mean, like at least with the being a Patriots fan arguing for them, it's easy to be like 6, 6 championships. Like it's hard to argue against that. But then Celtics, it's like we had some bumps. Well, a lot of bumps. Good
Yeah,
amount.
and it's like, you got 17, and it's like, yeah, but it's like a lot of those
Yeah, it's
took
not the
a while
Lakers.
ago.
Yeah. It's last year when the I don't want to get too off track, but when the Pats played the Rams in the Super Bowl, I was thinking it was Pats Rams, Red Sox Dodgers, and then I said to myself, Celtics Lakers this year. I think it was LeBron's first year in LA, and I was just like
Yeah,
fingers crossed because like at that point you never knew what LeBron was going to
it
do.
would have been cool. It would have been
I would
cool.
have been sick.
It would be awesome this year too, but I don't know.
Mm, yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
but so game 1, I mean, it was pretty standard. Like, nobody in the Celtics, I mean, really went off. Nobody really did too bad either. I mean, they ended up
No.
losing by what, like 20? Paul Pierce
Yeah,
lost
they
by
were
9.
79-93.
Yeah, so I mean, lost by
Yeah,
15.
and it's like
And I think I like, cause like I said, like, I don't even remember watching these games, like these first 2, but
yeah,
like, I just think the difference in even the narrative, and like, you saw watch 1 minute on the court, like, a year ago you would spend some time being like, we have different opinions on who the best player on the Heat is.
yeah.
Now it's just like, oh, this is LeBron's team with 2 amazing, like, teammates. It's like not a,
It's totally
like,
different.
yeah. It almost got away
That's
from being a big
interesting.
3 at the end.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting too, and I think that like putting them up against a team like the Boston Celtics, watching the game, and I was just watching like news reports on the game. It never like the narrative never really became like the big three versus the big three. Like
Mhm.
I feel like for who do you think was more of a solidified like big three? Do you think it was the Heat team or the Celtics team? And what I mean by that is, who do you think the team revolved more around a central like three players?
I would say that they revolve more around the Heat because they had to.
Yeah,
Because
I would
if you
agree.
look at that, like looking back at this old Heat team got me to think like there is no same class of move like to put LeBron's decision to go to Miami and Kevin Durant's in the same situation. Like to get LeBron and to get Chris Bosh, the cupboard was bare. Like it was there was nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing there. Udonis Haslam, Mario Chalmers, and they were lucky they got Norris Cole. Like they drafted him that one year. They were honestly
yeah,
lucky. And then if you look at it like there were things where it was like they always wanted to trade for a center, but just nobody would trade for them because they were the Heat. Like if you look at that as opposed to Kevin Durant just joined a team that kind of already had a big three, although I would argue it was just a good team more.
yeah,
But it was like everything was already in place from the jump. The second Kevin Durant got there, everyone knew they were going to win the NBA championship. There
yeah.
was some part of the heat of it was like we have the greatest advantage of all time, but we still need to figure out how to field a team. Like,
And there's the point that the Heat, at least at some points, struggled in the playoffs. The
yeah,
Warriors with Kevin Durant didn't like were
didn't
doing
struggle.
fine in the playoffs. They there's the one year that they swept almost every single team. They lost to LeBron once, and that was their only loss in the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. And what was the Heat record before LeBron and Bosh came? Was it
Yeah.
shit? I think it was on the
It
shittier
was
side.
on the shittier side. I know they played the Celtics as a 6 seed one year, coming
Record.
after the championship, so it was whether that was in the playoffs or it was a lottery year. It might have been a lottery year.
Hmm. So it would have been 2009, 2010, right?
Yep, yep, 2009, 2010.
They were well. They were the 5 seed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's something I didn't know. They were the 5 seed, which is interesting. And they would have played the Pacers. So it would have been, put it this way, it would have been D Wade against the Pacers. Who else was on that team?
On the Heat at the time?
On the Heat before
You had Shaq, but Shaq eventually left, obviously. But then you had Sean Marion for a little bit before he left. He kind of didn't really
okay.
work out as well as they thought. You had Eddie
Well,
House. Eddie House went down there.
okay. Well, point
Um,
is you didn't have
yeah, no, he didn't
Steph
have a lot.
Curry and
He
Draymond
didn't
Green.
have
Yeah.
a lot at all. No, it wasn't a great team, and when you looked at it, it was like I don't think any of the three of them had a path to a championship,
Yeah, I would agree.
or
And
at least what you could call a favorite's path to a championship.
yeah. And
Like
as we
you
were
could
talking about,
argue that after they had them up 73 and 73 and 10 or whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
If KD or they had the 73 and 9 team up 3-1, sorry, that's English for
yeah,
you. And then they do that trade for Ibaka where you bring in Victor Oladipo and Dominus Sabonis. Okay?
okay,
You're telling me you roll out that team. Like KD, Steven Adams, Russell Westbrook, Dominus Sabonis, Victor Oladipo, like I think at the
well,
time you still got Ennis Cantor. They're probably going to be favored over the Warriors even.
Sabonis and Oladipo weren't really like big
That good.
factors during that
No,
time. Yeah, yeah,
no, but even as like 6th and 7th man, they're like
yeah,
great for that. It's cuz you still got Roberson, you still got Cantor. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
like
I
they still
freaking for
have
gee,
stuff.
Andre Robertson's still out. He's still injured. I forgot about him.
Yeah,
He's great.
he can't shoot anything.
He can shoot. I like defensive guys though. He makes me. He makes me happy on defense. And you know what the thing is, though?
What?
I'd still take the Celtics over that team.
Over the Thunder?
Over the Thunder, at least that year. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
I'm saying that again because I forgot about obviously like Oladipo and Sabonis and
Yeah, no, that was after we blew the team up. We were a year into
Oh, okay.
that was the first year that we got IT after, because IT carries us into the playoffs as basically the sixth man, then we move him to the
Right.
starter. And then in the summer they signed Al Horford, and it was rumored they're gonna sign KD. And All Sports News or something did the
God.
Celtics post of like Celtics got KD, and it wasn't true. And I remember losing my mind after it wasn't true.
No, I remember that. Oh, I was in yeah. I like forgot about that there was like that sweet period where we were like Celtics get KD like Celtics
Yeah.
like just imagine that NBA, imagine the people.
I
I can't
can't
even.
believe I thought Gordon Hayward was such a tide turner. Like when they signed Gordon Hayward, I was like,
He
we're going to the
was.
finals. We're going to the finals. No, he
Doug,
wasn't.
he was though.
No, he
He
wasn't.
Gordon
He was.
Hayward Gordon Hayward had not reached his peak yet, and he was dirty.
I
Gordon
wouldn't
Hayward with
freak out.
Isaiah Thomas, dude,
I wouldn't freak out with like if we got Paul George, I wouldn't have freaked out. Like to me,
really,
I freaked out higher than Paul George. That's what I mean.
really.
Yeah, and then I thought it was like, listen, the system is gonna elevate him. He's gonna be a top 5 guy. No, no.
I thought he was going to be fucking spectacular. I seriously think if that injury didn't happen, the sky was the limit for Gordon Hayward. That's why I love him too. I just believe in him. I
Yeah,
don't
no.
know.
I
All right.
watched one preseason game, and I was like, he'll average 14 points here. It was like
Yeah,
the same fucking thing as Al Horford.
like that's what he's doing now. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean he's broken out a couple times. He had like a what like a we've talked about this before. Like he's had like a couple like 30-35 point games.
yeah.
But
All right, but
going on. We covered game two. Rajon Rondo 44.
yeah, 44 OT. You know.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
that was an
that was
OT.
the first time in my life I remember this so vividly. Rondo came up the court. Paul Pierce was open, like at like a mid range shot, or like not open, but like had one guy on him and could have beat him or whatever. And
Yeah,
Rondo came up the floor and shot a pull up three. And I was
yeah,
like, this is a different era. I was like,
yeah,
you are no longer playing with the same big three anymore. You're playing now like get where I need you to be and just shoot the ball when you have it, okay? Like
yeah. Right. And that's Rajon, and he really came to his own as a leader too. You know, just like you see those videos of him all the time of him and like on other teams too. He'll like be in like in the backcourt in the defense, and he'll just be like ordering people around. He always points like yelling at people. He really was, I think, the guy that we needed during that time. And if only we had given him maybe the right young weapons. Like I keep on getting off track, but imagine like Rajon Rondo with a nice young team that we had like a year or
imagine
two ago.
last year's team having gotten Rajon Rondo as your point guard
Yeah,
instead of having gotten and
and
like at the time Rajon, not like Lakers Rajon, then we would have not been great. But
yeah,
no, give
like
me
then Rajon.
29-year-old pre ACL injury like Rajon that just wanted to spread the ball around last year. Would
Yeah,
have worked out pretty well.
and we're comparing the two earlier, and he's more developed and a veteran in his career, but it's like what Chris Paul's doing right now. Chris Paul has a nice, vibrant young team, and they are tearing it up, doing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great job.
I didn't
You
think
know?
about it like that. Yeah, no, it's definitely the same way. Do you think Rondo's a Hall of Famer
Yeah.
after watching this
Oh,
series?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
fucking better
It
be.
got me
Yeah.
at a point where I was like, okay, yeah, there was a legitimate time where this dude was like a top 3 point guard in the NBA.
Exactly.
And we were all like, yeah, no, this is where he should be.
We're all like, this is our guy.
Like, I feel like sometimes we look at Dame, and when people are like, he's the number 2 point guard in the league, a lot of people, even though he is right now, a lot of people are like, yo, Dame can't be number 2. Like, come on. Or people who
Really?
are like,
Yeah.
Dame's 1. Like, I feel
Yeah.
because he's been neglected for so long.
And he
It's
has been. Yeah.
yeah, it's like now it's like, whoa, he's that good? I didn't think so.
Yeah, he's real. I mean, and it's kind of sad that you have to hit those big news hitting shots to be considered that because I mean he hit the one in to close the Houston series however long ago,
Yeah.
but it's now the last couple of years when Dame is hitting big shots and just getting the buzz. I think people are really starting to realize how good he is. So yeah, I
Yeah,
would agree.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think it's crazy, like, because I guess you could call it weak point guard position. I mean, because sure, Steph was out this year, and like Kyrie's kind of taken a step back almost,
Yeah,
but it's still a strong position. But I think it's just the fact that even like Lillard, I don't think it's because he's not there, but it's almost he missed so many All Star games when he was younger because like he just didn't get he was the third guy, and just they only take two.
yeah, right.
And it just he wasn't going to beat Chris Paul and he wasn't going to beat Steph Curry, and
And that's a
so it's
bummer.
like it. I have more comfort almost looking at Rondo as a Hall of Famer as I do. I have way more confidence in that than I do Dame. Even though Dame's numbers are going to be far and away higher and everything, he's going to kill him in total points. Kill him in field goal percentage and all this
Yeah,
stuff and PER and every advanced metric you can think of. But at a certain point, there were just people that I feel like you looked at Rondo and it was just like, oh yeah, he's the third like best point guard in the league and he's on the best team. Like,
yeah. And this contributes to a lot of players. It's where I think Rondo shines Damian Lillard out, and a lot of the things that don't come from stats, just hustle wise,
yeah,
leading the team, just having the motivation to get there. I think that puts Rondo's edge right above Damian Lillard.
yeah, and almost even just like I feel like in the basketball IQ of things, when you
Yeah,
if I could pick any trait of my point guards of like had to be a mental thing, it'd be I wanted to be a step ahead. And like sometimes you look and Rondo's just 2, 3, 4 steps.
yeah, I know.
Like
It's just thrilling.
he'll have faked the ball 3 times at 3 guys that could have had a wide open look just to know that one guy's guy will leave him and he'll have a wide open layup. Like
Yeah, and that's just a great player. Just another one of those players that I just love to watch. I miss watching. I mean, he's on that Lakers team. I told you before I saw him hit the game winner against us in TD Garden during the regular season. And
yeah.
he's just great to watch. He's just an amazing player.
I'm trying to look. Is this the year? Oh no, he just wasn't playing. Okay. So game 3,
Yep.
um yeah, like it was. I mean, the Celtics won, but like looking back on it, you knew that this wasn't gonna last as a Celtics fan. Like you knew if we lost here, this was it, kind of. Because
Yeah.
with the minutes played, like our top 2 guys in minutes played are Avery Bradley and Brandon Bass.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about Brandon Bass till I was going back and looking at some
Yeah,
just playoff
like
highlights, and he was
Greg
hitting shots.
Steensma. Do you even know who Greg Steensma is?
I do not know who that is.
Greg Steensma is a pasty, glue pigmented twig from where is he from? What college did he go to? Oh, he went to University of Wisconsin, and he was
Wisconsin.
just a 6'11" beanpole. Could not, could not function in the Celtics offense,
Yeah.
and he was playing 24 minutes a game. He had
No.
6 points and 4 rebounds.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I don't think he played an NBA career after this season.
Hey, Doc
Oh no, he
Rivers.
did. He played that 1 year with Boston, and then he went on to just average 4 points in the rest of
No
the
shit.
year.
How many points did he average with us?
2.9 on 14 minutes.
No shit.
But listen to how bad this is. One
Hit me.
year, he had 2.9 points a game, but
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. You're like, Coop, it's okay. He probably just sucks and he doesn't play.
Yeah.
No, he sucked and he played. He
Oh
averaged
wow.
18 and a half minutes a game.
Well, I mean, what I was gonna say is Doc Rivers, Doc Rivers put him in the game. Gotta trust him. Gotta trust him.
Yeah,
That's the homie Doc.
that's the homie Doc. That's the homie Doc. And then we traded him when nobody even knew you could trade
We
your
got rid of him.
coach.
We got Brad.
Like, people are like, "What? You can trade your fucking coach?"
Yeah, I know. I forget about that. That's the funniest thing. I don't see why that doesn't. You really don't hear about that often. I think the like the coach market of like the NBA and just all sports, that's some really interesting shit. You
Yeah,
know?
that's like they've been rumoring for years that they're gonna trade for Miami or trade for Masai Ujiri. Sorry, trying to look up
Yeah,
his.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Is he really that? I mean, how I was gonna say, is he really that great of a
He
GM?
he
But then you think about
basically
how he,
he basically built Denver, left, and then decided I'm gonna go to Toronto.
I think, got a good year.
He traded Melo, traded Melo,
Oh
let
shit!
Iguodala walk, and then I want to say traded Gallinari. No, told them to let Gallinari walk as he was leaving or something like that, and just basically fixed the whole team.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's the homie Masai.
yeah. So wow, yeah. Looking at these games, I mean, LeBron, Rondo's playing in Game 5. Celtics win by 2. Went so down to the stretch, and you
Yeah.
know, it just like if you look at Rondo, you were like, he's one of the best players on the floor, and then you looked at his box score, and it's like he played 44 minutes. He had 7 points. He had 13
No
assists. Like
shit.
that's incredible, and then he has 6 rebounds. You're like, but he's one of the best 5 guys in the league. Like, why don't I see it on a stat sheet like that?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, Kevin Garnett kind of did his series bailout game there, gets 26 in 35 minutes, gets 26 and 11. I mean, because, yeah, they only have 5 guys in double figures. One of them is
Oh yeah.
Michael Petrus.
Who is? What the fuck that
Exactly.
is? Probably another
Exactly.
pasty fucking white guy.
No, no, no. He's all those years that the Lakers weren't good and like all those years that they set the records for losing before Lonzo Ball got there. Not that he fixed it though, but
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. That
got there.
like
Yeah,
the
he was just
D'Angelo
like the guy
Russell.
who would be starting at small forward, like racking up all those.
Oh yeah, just yeah, just like the guy that you see at the starting lineups. You just go who?
Yep. Um. So then, if we're moving down the series, Game 6,
Yeah,
he calls that LeBron's signature game.
that was like the wow game. I was watching just like a Stephen A. Smith talking about that game afterwards, and it
Yeah,
was just like the general like vibe of just like the reporters was just like,
he's the best player in the game.
oh my god, like yeah, like, I mean the like 40, and we were talking about the numbers before 45, like right there, game 6, and then I don't know how LeBron was viewed, but
Oh yeah, took him to a whole different level.
do you see Doc Rivers, the post game interview after game 6?
No.
He's talking to everybody. He goes, "Hey guys, like I don't know if you ever, because I guess people doubted LeBron in like clutch moments." And Doc
Yeah,
Rivers like,
yeah.
"Hey,
Oh yeah, all the
if
time,
you
all
ever
the time.
doubted him, then you better stop doubting him." Like Doc Rivers, right after they lost, like he's fucking
Oh
great.
yeah, because like I don't know if you know this, but the narrative up until kind of because of that Magic or Maverick series, after that, those first 2 rounds in the playoffs, the narrative is he still doesn't want it.
Yeah,
Like in that, because to me, it's like LeBron's just so like programmed to make the correct basketball play that he can't help like last second of the game, I'm getting doubled, guys wide open, bing. Even though we want him to shoot it, that's how he's gonna play the game. And
yeah,
like I remember one of them, I don't remember who they were playing, but it was in the first round, and it's like a minute to go, they're up 1, and everybody, like the announcers are saying it. They're like, we hope LeBron looks for the shot here. So like
yeah,
he changed, like they got to be like, it can't be the same LeBron as last year. And then like you saw him take the ball to the baseline, get the double team, and then just whip the ball to Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh dunks the ball, and the announcers are almost criticizing him. They're like,
yeah.
when you got a little guy on you like that, you got to just take him to the hole. And it's like they just won the game,
I can just yeah, right,
sweat the team.
yeah.
He's got a triple double, like, but we're still being like, this dude can't really play.
Yeah, even though he's just making good decisions. That's like LeBron gets a lot of hate, but that's like where you gotta step in. Be like,
And the
"Hey, like,
craziest
come on."
thing is that it almost started when, you know, the second round of the playoffs when we sweep him in Cleveland.
Oh,
The
what
Celtics
the
in 2009.
yeah,
He's the first seed. Everybody picked him to go to the finals. He's the MVP and everything, and then he just gets swept. He just gets swept, and like then I started to feel like the media was starting to say like he doesn't want it or whatever. He's backing down from a challenge. But if you look at him like all the way up until he like loses in the finals, like the boy's just hitting big shot after big shot.
exactly.
He's 21, bringing a franchise to the conference finals, then the finals. Like,
Yeah. And he might not have been able to ride on it as much when he was losing to the Warriors, but at least back then you could say, look at his team.
yeah,
Like look at what the guy has to work with. I mean, when he's like 20, whatever he was, 21, 22, maybe
yeah,
not even. It's like, hey, it's like, come on, like, what are you gonna do?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think 2012 against the Celtics was really, or I mean, not I mean, even before that, when he was trying to get to the finals, really gave him a platform to show that he could finally make it.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I remember watching this game start to finish, him having 30 and a half. And I was way younger at the time, and I wasn't there. But comparatively to when you saw Devin score 70, his 45, number one, it looked so much better, but it
Yeah,
looked so much harder. Like you just like in terms of he got 45 tough points. And
yeah,
like they ended up absolutely eviscerating them. Game 6. Everyone in Boston's like it's meant to be. We got one on the parquet before we got to go down to Miami. But
exactly.
to me, I just knew like I was like no way. Like I was like stories don't get written like this. I was like you can't lose 4 in a row to a team of old dudes. I'm like, they're gonna get up one time at
Yeah,
least, and then it
and
started to scare you.
yeah, I mean,
He just
just
got going and didn't stop.
I mean, it's at Boston Garden, like you're
Yeah,
right. Like I mean, just like coming off 3 wins, it's just It's a heartbreaker.
yeah.
It's what they call it.
Paul
It's just
Pierce, by like the end of the first half, they've like given up Paul Pierce, like of letting him guard him. And at that point, it's like they're playing Jeff Green the entire game just to force him to guard LeBron.
yeah, just
Like,
giving him
as
something
such
to
a young dude who came from, like, the losing Oklahoma City, like, never playing in a big game, must be like, "Oh my gosh, this
yeah.
is crazy.
Like, what are we doing?
Like, I
You
only have
can't
one
imagine.
job? Oh, and it's to stop the hardest guy to stop in the world? Great. I should be good for my second contract."
Yeah, I know, right? It's fucking lot to put on a guy, and a lot of the opinion that I was hearing after that, just watching videos and stuff, is that in that game, the Celtics supposedly came in like they had it,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I,
The whole
that's
like, Boston thought you had it. It was
right.
some part of that old Celtic mystique that we thought this group had that was just like,
It's
"We're at
yeah, like
home. It's the Celtics."
yeah,
Like,
it's
no
it's a
team.
it's a it's a series winning game, and we're at home. Like yeah,
Yeah. Like, I
exactly.
remember people being like, "We haven't lost in the playoffs yet at home." And I remember thinking, I was like, "The teams that we played were the 8 seed and the 5 seed." I'm like,
Yeah,
"This is a whole different level." Like, these kids are playing the 8 seed Sixers coming from them, like, those kids are on the fucking JV team except for Andre Iguodala. Like, now you're
yeah.
playing with the greatest players.
How did the Celtics do in the last series? Like in terms of like the numbers on the series, were they sweeps or were they close?
Um,
I'll look it up.
I know they played the Sixers,
Okay, so they
and it went
Sixers
7, I think.
Sixers went 7. Wow,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know that.
But that was really you got that feel. Like, I remember not watch I had watched most of that series, and I remember not watching game 7 at a certain point because you were just like, "They had this." Like,
Oh yeah,
and they were even like
it
it
was
was
a
like they were up 5, and you were just like, at a certain point, like, they can play basketball just differently than the Philadelphia 76ers could because
Yeah.
at the time, your team on Philadelphia is, Andre Iguodala, maybe Andre Miller or
They
Jermaine
had
Bayless.
they had Drew Holiday. They had
Oh, Drew
Elton
Holiday,
Brand.
Elton Brand. He was washed at the time.
Yeah. Oh, they had Lou Williams.
Yeah, yeah, Blue.
Oh shit. But yeah,
There's
I
got to.
mean,
There's some other. There was a big man.
who was it? I'm looking at Evan Turner. Do you say him?
Oh, Evan Turner. Yeah, he kind of he did better in the series, and I remember people thinking then like he was gonna kind of take a step.
He's
Never
he's
came.
the same Evan Turner
Yeah,
that's
same
like
Evan Turner.
Hawks or something.
They played in the
Oh no
Celtics
shit.
for a year.
Oh yeah, we're trying. He was recently a free agent. There were talks that we were going to get him back at one point.
Yeah, that I'd like that one. He was good.
Yeah.
Guy who could grab the ball and rip.
All right. I mean, he's leading in
But
rebounds in most of the
sometimes
games
he'd
in the
elbow
series.
people in the dick off of it because he just had that weird body that when he would shoot a jump shot, his elbows would just dart.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Um, After that though, sorry, let me get back to the game wherever it is, Game 7. I mean, what like were you still watching by that point, Game 7? What was your opinion going into that game? Because
Like
of course
going
it was
into
in
that game,
Miami.
like going into that game, Miami, I remember just like it was always that Doc Rivers quote of like I forget what it was. It was like, oh, it was well, it's like anything can happen after a team wins on the road. And
Yeah.
and it was the whole thing of like now that one team won on the road, like it's gonna be hell in game 7 and it's gonna, like get turned on its head completely.
Yeah.
And actually, no, because we stole one in Miami. So I remember him because he had always said that over the years. And so you knew that kind of like game 7 could be ridiculous. And then he came out at the beginning and it was just like a bad game. Like nobody was hitting shots. I remember for a while Brandon Bass was kind of the guy carrying the Celtics.
Oh yeah.
And then you got to this point in the second quarter where they were doing that little run around play with Rondo where he kind of gives the ball to KG in like that mid post area, runs around him and gets the ball back for a layup. And KG's done it 100,000 times. We all know that KG on that screen, he kind of jerks it a little bit. He doesn't stay square. Like he's
Yeah.
not fully straight. He's going to lean it and make it hard for you. And he's always done it for like 20 years. And he set that one and they barely touched him. Like the screener
Oh
barely hit
really?
him. And they called an illegal screen. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that's going to be a problem. Like, if he
Yeah.
can't set that screen, he's too used to setting that screen. And then, it was like a scrum. The Celtics are constantly trying to fight to get up on them. And I want to say they're down 4, and like the announcers right away go like, they really need this one. They're taking the ball out under the hoop. He gives it to Rondo. Rondo gives it back to him on the post up, and then the exact same thing happens. Handoff. He leans a little bit, except
No
this
shit.
time he absolutely clobbered the guy. And it
Oh
just like was just like illegal screen, go. LeBron, next play, one dribble, almost
yeah.
from the logo, 3-pointer. It was over.
Who was the screen on? I'm interested. Do
Uh
you remember?
I
Because if
I think it was either Evan Turner or Drew Holiday. Now I'm thinking about it.
oh okay.
Because they just like it was one of those littler dudes, so he kind of just threw his bony ass into him and just like threw him to the side. Oh wait, no, because it was Miami at that point. No, it's Miami.
Yeah.
No,
I was like,
yeah,
oh okay,
no,
we're
wait,
talking
what
about
am I
Sixers.
doing? Yeah, no, hold on. What am I thinking? No, because it was a little dude. I think the
Who
first one's
Chalmers?
on a big man. Because the first
Okay.
one, when he barely touches him, you're like, what is going on here? I think it could have maybe even it might have been Joel Anthony. It's
Oh yeah.
like literally the definition of like going under a screen in pickup. Like
Yeah.
my hand touches you as you're going by, and they called it. And most people are like, "That's a bad call," but if that's how you're gonna call Kevin Garnett, like it technically is right because he's still moving. And you knew
Yeah.
once you did that, you were like, "This could be bad." And then as the whole time you're watching the Celtics, and you're just like, nobody can make a shot unless
Yeah.
they go to the free throw line. Nobody's making it.
Just looking at the stat line right now, I don't know if you have it pulled up. You know who led in points, rebounds, and assists on the Celtics?
Rondo.
Rondo. That is like I just saw that. That is like that's crazy to me. That's
Yeah,
absolutely crazy to me.
yeah, but like, look who's playing. Like, Kenyon Dooling is playing legitimate minutes. He's playing 6 minutes. Michael Petras is playing 20.
This whole Celtics minutes debacle is really interesting me.
Oh yeah,
Why would was it the big three just kind of at the end of their prime, just not able to play those big minutes? Like how
no,
often were they
yeah,
playing?
it was like you had to bring them down. A lot of the times one of them would be banged up. They brought him down to like 32 a game and would let Rondo go like 35, 40, 40, 45 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And like after a certain point, like because everybody you brought in on that '08 team, because you had to bring in rookie or like veteran minimum near guys.
yeah,
If you were looking at it from afterwards, everybody just like they went on to just make so much more money. Like Delonte West signed a big contract, left the Celtics eventually after that. Eddie
Monte
House,
West. Yeah,
how he ended up in Miami, taking a big contract off that '08 team.
yeah.
Um, who was it? There were a couple other guys. I mean, Kendrick Perkins, he got his contract from his work with the Celtics. Like he got traded. The Thunder really wanted him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it's just a lot of stuff like that. And actually, no, this year is the year of Kevin Garnett or Jeff Green's heart injury, I think, because
Oh shit!
at the
Really?
time, yeah, everybody was thinking he's the next piece. He was kind of
Really?
going to be the thing that makes this whole transition easier. Not to, use a bad statement with two guys who don't meet the quality of the other players, but it
Yeah.
was supposed to kind of be that Larry Bird, Len Bias thing of
Like
uh,
this is
like Paul Pierce to Jeff Green, like he's the next great small forward.
yeah, but
Only took until 2018 when they drafted Tatum that we found it,
yeah, right. Whatever,
which actually
whatever.
came from Paul, which is hilarious to think about. That
Oh
he
yeah,
came legitimately from Paul.
that's a yeah. I
He's an
actually never
asset
fucking thought
of
about
Paul
that.
Pierce.
That's funny. I never
And
thought about that.
Jalen's
I
an
always forget that.
asset of
Jalen's an asset.
KG. Like they're all and Terry. Like
Greatest trade of all time.
yeah, one of them. One of them.
One of them. Wow, what was
When
the
you
other one?
well, if you're going only basketball, I still think Penny Hardaway, that was the greatest robbery ever.
What was his trade? What was that about?
So the Magic got the number one pick with the least likely odds, and they're like,
Yeah,
okay. And the whole time they managed to get everybody to think because everybody was like, you should, with the number one pick, take Chris Webber.
yeah.
And they like brought or not or with the number one pick you should take Penny Hardaway, is who Shaq wanted, and everybody thought, take Chris Webber, big man, get two big men, you'll be insane. So that's the
Oh,
thought.
really?
Shaq works out with Penny at the Blue Chips movie. It's the first movie Shaq ever did,
Okay.
and he ends up just loving Penny. And basically the whole thing is he was always like, every single time in anything we did playing pickup, whenever Shaq put up his hand, he was like, ball was there every single time. He's like, I don't
Yeah.
care if I had a wide open layup, Shaq's hand went up, ball went there. That's just how it was. And he was like, draft him, draft him, draft him. And then at the Magic, they were at one point, they were like, we're going to take Chris Webber. Told Shaq that. Shaq, people debate whether he talked to Penny or something. Penny ends up calling the Magic back and being like, hey, can I come do another workout? And
Yeah.
they end up doing something that's not allowed anymore, which is running 5-on-5 with the real team.
No shit.
And they put like the best defender on him and put Shaq on his team. And just nobody could stop him. So at the time, they were like, yeah, we're taking Penny, but nobody knows.
That's
Nobody thinks
wicked
you're going to take a
interesting.
dude from Mississippi State or no, Memphis State over the dude from, Michigan who just went to 2 Final Fours.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they picked Weber one, and basically immediately called the Warriors, who had 3, and they were like, "We know you want Weber. We know you wanted Weber the entire time." And they were like, "What's it going to take for us to get him?" And they said, "First, you got to draft Penny Hardaway, and then we want 6 first-round picks." And Wemby said, "No fucking way." He said, "We are not giving you 6." And he goes,
No
"But I'll give
shit.
you 3." I'll give you 3 unprotected first-round picks of a bad basketball team. And he took those 3 picks. So imagine if we got those Celtics picks in consecutive years just to
Yeah.
get the guy we wanted to draft. It'd be like if they gave us 3 picks to move back from Markelle to Tatum.
Yeah, right.
Imagine if just every year, just
That's a good fucking trade. That's a really interesting story, actually.
but the worst part about it is Shaq eventually fucking leaves.
Yeah, he
Because
was.
they have all these high picks and they do nothing with them. They don't
Who
field a
did they
team.
draft?
Every dude who's like known for being very good on the Magic during that time was drafted before Penny. That's the funny part.
Oh shit.
Is that Nick Anderson, first pick of the Magic, or no, Dennis Scott, first pick of the Magic, I think. And then they got Nick Anderson, then they signed Horace Grant, then they drafted
Okay.
Shaq.
So they had a pretty good team. I mean, something with the Magic and bad picks. Who like those picks were what? The next 3 picks just turned out to be bums, or did they not end up getting good picks off
They
of
ended
the
up
Warriors
getting
picks?
pretty good picks, I'm pretty sure.
Did they?
Because I mean, I know one year Weber I know he made the playoffs as a rookie, but he was quickly out of there
Yeah.
because it just like wasn't working. So I want to say that like 2 were lottery, and then 1 was still like an 8 seed. So it's like you're looking at like at least anywhere from 10 higher, and then 1 at like 16.
Okay.
Yeah. So you weren't breaking
So
the
you know,
bank, but that's the same thing that we did get with the first one because we got Terry at 17, or actually James Young at 18.
I was just looking up Tracy McGrady because I forgot who he was drafted by, but
He was
I'm
drafted
willing
by the
to
Raptors.
by the Raptors, and he was on the Magic by 2000. So I'm wondering if one of those picks came into getting McGrady, unless he just signed. Oh no,
He
McGrady
did just
signed.
sign.
He
Yeah, he
signed as a
signed.
free agent.
He got
Oh
lured. He
shit.
got lured on the idea of him and Grant Hill, and then Grant Hill came down there and he started to have some Swiss cheese ankles.
Yeah. All right. So I guess fucking
Swiss
injured.
cheese.
I didn't know. That's funny. That both of those injury-prone guys on the same team.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Oh.
So after the Celtics Heat series, I'm assuming you just thought the Heat were going to run away with the finals.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, like it was a
Yeah.
pretty good Celtics team to blow by. Like, I mean, not blow by like that, but
Yeah, but to have gotten by them.
yeah, exactly. I mean, who they? I
The
mean, like
Thunder.
Miami Heat Thunder. Like obviously, I thought the Celtics were going to beat the Thunder, so I didn't really
Yeah.
think the Thunder would stand much of a chance.
All right. So your pick up for this next one. What's going to be this next series?
Um, hmm, I let me think of this one. I really haven't thought of this. I kind of want, just for the sake of like the MJ documentary and stuff. I kind of
You want
want
to do an
to.
MJ one?
Yeah, I want to do a. What about the Jazz? What about those last, like literally the last dance?
You want to do the last 2?
Yeah, we could probably squeeze both of those into one episode.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go with that.
All right,
All righty,
cool.
man.
And we'll
Well,
do the. Are we doing the cooped up tomorrow?
yep, yep.
All right, just let me know what time you want to do that.
All righty, man. Will do. Thank you again.
Thank you.